I don't know if we've really nailed down an intro instead of just sort of babbling and talking over each other.
That's kind of what most people do anyway, so it's fine. But hi, hello, welcome to the third official episode of the Rustbelt Hippies Knitcast. I am Christina of Bone and Birch, and this is Larissa of Fuzzy Green Fibers.
Hey.
We're coming to you from Metro Detroit, Michigan, and the greater Cleveland area. So, hello. We're in the Rust Belt.
Yeah, it's very gray.
Yeah.
And dreary, just like you would imagine the Rust Belt to be.
Yep, Rust Belt in January. That's all it is. We get like how many hours of daylight? Not much.
Not a lot. It's 39 degrees.
Yeah.
Thing. So, yeah, we just have to ride it out until things start growing again in the beginning of May.
Yeah. I don't mind winter too much, actually. I really enjoy it. I just wish we had snow because it's just been, like, moderately cold, not very cold for Michigan, and rain. And anytime we get snow, it just melts right away, and I don't like that. I wish we just had lots of snow.
I would love it if it was just completely snowy from, like, Thanksgiving through the beginning of March, and then it have like a melting period of a week, and then spring should start. Yeah. But it's just like we get a couple of snows, and then it's just this in the 40s rainy nonsense through April.
Yeah, that's the same way here. I think we get pretty similar weather, actually.
Yeah, we're both right on the lake and pretty much the same latitude.
Yeah.
So yeah, my least favorite time of year is like February through April. Because it's not spring yet, and it's late winter, and it's just gross.
Yeah. You really don't want to leave the house because it gets dark at 4 p.m. So.
She's like, spring has sprung, and I'm like, no. If I can't put food in the ground right now, it's not spring.
I agree.
Anyway.
But yeah, it's winter time in the northern hemisphere, and that means lots of knitting. However, the holidays kind of, put a little bit of a kibosh on that. But
it happened.
Yeah. We did, I don't know if anyone has watched any of them, but we did many Vlogmas videos as well. Kind of tapered off on the end. Everybody just started getting sick, and it's hard to come up with, new stuff every day. So we kind of took it off. But next year, maybe we will not do Vlogmas. We'll just do like a Christmas knit along, make along, something like that instead.
Yeah, that was, it was kind of fun, but it was also too much work.
Yeah,
like the recording of the video was fine, but having to upload everything, it takes a lot longer than you think. So now we know.
Right. It was fun. It was a good experience for us to do it every day. So yeah, it worked out.
Indeed. So I guess we can move into knitting content.
Yeah.
The Rustbelt Hippies Knitcast.
Exactly. Would you like to start? You're wearing something beautiful that you just recently finished.
Yeah. So what I'm wearing is also a finished object. It is called the LUFTHUL sweater, or just LUFTHUL. It's by ELSEBETH, JUDITH. And yeah, LUFTHUL means air hole in Danish. Probably similar word in German, I imagine. So yeah, I finished that, I think, the 23rd, but I didn't end up weaving in the ends and blocking it for like another week or so.
Yeah.
December has been a hell of a month. But yeah, I love it. This is, I knit it in my to be debuted, which I'll talk about later, BFL mohair fingering weight. It's a woolen spun yarn, and the skeins are 500 yards. It's lovely, and the color is chartreuse. And it was a really fun knit. It's pretty like open and gauzy, which is what I wanted because I wanted it to only be a 2-skein project. And I have this much left over still.
Oh, that's pretty good.
A solid 40 grams. I have to weigh it, but it's a good amount.
That's nice.
Yes. So I did a couple modifications. One major one was this split hem. It's a little bit longer in the back. And then I added This is just supposed to be like a raw edge here. But since I was alternating skeins, the one edge has like where I was carrying them up the edge, and it just didn't look as clean as it should have. So I just picked up and knit here 4 rows, and then I bound off just simply. I didn't really count like how often I was picking them up, but I think it just cleaned up a little bit, and it makes it a little bit less plunging. So I love it. It's a very woolly yarn, but it doesn't prickle. If it did, I wouldn't wear it. And I love it, and I have several more sweaters planned in it. So yeah, that's my only finished object that I can show since last time. I did finish about 10 more socks since we last podcasted on my sock machine, which I have an ERLBACHER GEARHART SPEEDSTER circular sock machine, but I was just really far behind on Christmas gifts, so I just made them and kitchenered the toes and packed them up on their merry way to their recipients. So I don't have anything to show you, but
I don't think I've ever asked you, is your sock machine a vintage one, or is it a new one that you bought?
Oh, it's not vintage, it's new, which is really nice because you can get any extra parts or replacement parts right from them. You don't have to go searching on eBay or anything from them. And they have a couple of packages of this particular machine. They have a couple of different machines too, but the different packages have more or less stuff. So we'll see. And I can just throw in a little plug that I do offer sock tube cranking services on any of my yarns, on any fingering weight basis if you're interested.
Mm-hmm. You've had it for about a year now? Is it a little over or a little less than a year?
Well, Jason ordered it in like November for me to have it for Christmas last year, but I don't think we got it until January because they were getting a ton of orders, which is really great for them. But so yeah, I've had it for about a year since last January.
Yeah, and you've made a ton of stuff on it. So you've put it to use.
Yeah, I think I probably made about 45 pairs of socks, a bunch more sock tubes for myself that aren't socks yet, and then innumerable socks or sock tubes for like other people. They've sent me their yarn and I sent it back to them as tubes, which I haven't been doing that for a while because it is just really time consuming. And I've also cranked some tubes from my yarn from the shop. Anyway, a lot of views. Sorry, that is an infomercial for Circus.
No, it's good though. It's something I would aspire to own at some point in the future. So I like learning about it.
Yeah, it's so much fun. I wish I had more time to be working on it because if I did have the time, I would be probably making a pair of socks every day. I love it.
Yeah. It sounds like it's worth it. So that was your sweater and your socks, or your FOs, right?
That's it.
Okay. I don't have much either. Christmas kind of gets in the way of everything around here. We get so busy. We have a lot of people, a lot of cooking to do, and we hosted it here. We live with my grandmother, so my grandmother technically hosted Christmas this year, but she's almost 80, so really we do a lot of it, which is fine. It's a lot of fun. It's just, it takes time. So also, if I seem very bouncy, it's because I'm sitting on the bed, and so the iPad keeps bouncing every time I move. So I apologize to anyone that's noticed that. I have this FO to show off. That's the back side. This is my raised crop test knit that I did for Boho Chic Fibers. It is a cropped garter stitch, bulky or heavy worsted weight sweater. I finished it on the 31st of December. And it is to be released on the 7th of January. So there's still a couple of days. I'm technically not supposed to show all of it off, but I don't know how many people really watch this right now. So it'll be out by the time people see it. So yeah, I finished this. It was really fun. I really enjoyed it. I think I'll probably make another one and size up so that I have a really drapey, cozy one. This one's pretty fitted. It's the exact measurement of my bust, so it's 0 inches of negative or positive ease.
How long is it? Is it cropped on you?
It is. It goes to my natural waistline. So her pattern calls for making it just 5 inches down after you split for the arms.
Oh dear.
And that did not even cover my bust at all. So I had to go like a good 10, 12 inches down.
That's how my BANDANA was. It kind of feels like a sports bra.
Yeah. It's I tried it on and I was like, that's not gonna work. So we kept going with it. I didn't even really use that much yarn with it. Maybe like 650 yards of bulky weight yarn.
That's good going.
It's not a super bulky yarn. It's a little more on like a heavy worsted or Aran weight, but really it's still not that much at all, and it would be less for smaller sizes. So I was very happy with it.
That's pretty.
I can show you the backside with the seam down the middle from where I did it. So I did this. So you work from the top down, you work it flat, and then it's garter stitch from under once you split for the sleeves, then it's garter stitch on the way down. But I hate purling, so I looked up a technique to do no purl garter stitch in the round, which basically is just like you run the whole row of stockinette and then you turn it and do reverse stockinette, and then you just keep going back and forth. So I have like sort of a seam under one arm from where you turn it, but really it's not that bad at all.
It looks okay.
Yeah, it's not anything that like, I'd rather have had that seam than have to actually purl each one of these freaking rows. I'm just not into it. It makes my hands hurt. So
is it safe to assume that we're never going to see you knitting a cardigan in stockinette because you have to go back and forth for the entire thing?
I'll probably, if I do a cardigan, I'll probably steek it so that I don't have to like, I can just knit it in the round. And because I have a cardigan on my Make 9, and I was like, it's a fingering weight cardigan too. And I was like, I know what I'm doing by putting this on here and I want to finish it, but I'm probably going to try and do it in the round and then just steek it so that I don't have to work it back and forth flat. It just drives me nuts. I can't do it. It just feels so slow going for me. That's, Yeah,
I've gotten over that.
Yeah.
It just goes. It'll get done.
That's my only finished object.
Yeah.
Do you want to move on to whips, or do you have anything else to mention?
I don't think so. I just remembered I want to grab one more thing to show for my whips. It's a hibernating whip.
Okay.
I have a couple of whips, and I wanted to show this bag too. Christina and I got each other stuff for Christmas. This was one of the things. I'm assuming this is naturally dyed.
It is, yeah. It's painted, so it's painted on with pomegranate dye, and then she goes over it with an iron solution in the paintbrush, so that's why it has dark streaks on it too. It's
by Goldfinch Limited.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. And I have all the little things in here, like this little notebook and this little, I assume it's supposed to be cross stitch or some kind of embroidery kit. I love it. Anyway, the whip that I have in this bag is a brioche cowl. It's called the DK Brioche Bandana Cowl by LAVANYA PATRICELLA. And this is going to be for Scotty to match his mittens.
It looks really good.
Look how nasty these are. He wears them every day.
That's good. They're getting used.
Power of non-superwash yarn. They're just completely felted and it's perfect.
Yeah.
But he sometimes like wants to wear like a shawl because I don't really have any scarves when we play outside, but I think a cowl would just be easier for him to manage. So I have plenty of this left over. So another project is going. That's the inside. It's fun. Yeah. So
I think she offers that in a couple different yarn weights too, doesn't she?
She does. I definitely at least 3. I don't know how many total though, but it's very simple. Just around and around. Do like 35 or 36 of these. You can count like however many rows, and then you start going back and forth to do the pointy bit at the end. So it's taking a while because it's brioche, but I think it'll be a nice little thing for Scotty, and this is something on my Make 9.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to be good and follow the things I did, and that's a little reindeer stitch marker from my Hook and Light advent calendar. Okay.
Yeah, I love it when designers offer projects, the same project in various yarn weights. I love that. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, it was perfect. And then, so I'll show my other WIP at the same time that you show your very same one.
Okay.
This one isn't really, it's a WIP, but I'm not working on it right now. But I'm going to once I finish that KAL. So this is my Go-To Raglan by West Knits, and you can see that I'm knitting it inside out because I want the right side to be reverse stockinette. All I have left to do are the sleeves, so I kind of made it a bit cropped to here, and it's a little bit oversized once I block it. So I figured
it's so cozy when it's done.
Yeah, because the sleeves are pretty big. Even if I had gone a size down, they're pretty oversized on me. So, kids are crying. I don't know if you can hear that. Yeah, this is what the right side is going to look like. Sorry if you can hear my needles scratching around. But I did like, the Raglan line is like stockinette, and then the rest of it is reverse stockinette. So I just am like purling the Raglan on the other side. I like it. It's
2 strands held together? Is that why it's marled?
Yeah.
Marled and faded.
It is. So they're kind of, this charcoaly color is the same throughout. And then I have like 5 or something other colors. None of them are like colorways of mine, but they are on my single ply merino. 2 of them are ones that me and Scotty dyed with Kool-Aid a couple of years ago.
Aww.
So that'll be a fun little project to memorialize that.
Yeah.
But I'm really enjoying it, and I will be updating my Ravelry page with information on it once it's done. But I think it'll be, I hope I can finish it quickly because it's like a worstedy weight once you're holding them together.
Yeah.
So we can talk about my other WIP once you talk about yours.
Okay, I just have one today. I haven't really I finished a couple of things over the course of December, and so I've been trying to focus on just the few things that I have so that I can get them done and then start working on our Make 9 WIP. So this is my one WIP that I have going on right now after I finished a bunch of things in December. This is a cowl from Margot. She really, same thing, scarves don't really stay well on her little body. So I like cowls a lot. And most of them that I've made for her were crocheted from years ago. So I've wanted to make her a warm one. So this is a mini version of the Snuggle is Real cowl, which was a finished object I had in our last podcast episode, Knitcast episode. So I just downsized it basically. I just cut out a third of the cast on number, and I'm using a lot of leftover bits from my 2 soldatas that I made. So that's why it's kind of different colors here. And then I've started the tube for the inside because it's double walled, and hopefully I'll get that done within the next couple of days. If I actually had time to sit and work on it, I could get it done today, but that'll never happen. There's no time where you ever get 8 hours to sit and knit uninterrupted when you have children.
I love that so much.
I know.
Where I could knit like it was my job.
Pause for a hand massage and then go back to business. But yeah, I think that's my only WIP right now. I guess I should mention that. So this is leftover yarn for my soldatas, but these are all naturally dyed yarns as well. So these are all DK weight yarns that I have dyed with bugs and tree bits. So yeah, do we want to talk about our next one?
Let's do it.
All right. No, get out of here, cat. No, thank you. Ooh, you started your brioche section.
Yeah,
the second one. Very nice. I like how we've done ours a little differently.
Yeah.
So we both got the same Hook and Light naturally dyed yarn advent calendar for the month of December. So we are using that to, sorry, cat, for this KAL that we started. This is the Color Craze shawl by Tammy Gore, and we thought this would be a really great way to use up mini skeins from advent calendars, which a lot of people seem to have gotten this year, or you have lots of little leftover bits of fingering weight yarn, which happens to all of us, especially if you make socks and things like that. So this is a really good way to use them up. And the advent calendars had a lot of pinks in them, as you can see, so that's why we both have lots of pinks.
There's a lot of pinks and a lot of yellows, so I think we both did the same thing and kind of just grabbed all the ones that were the pinkest.
Yeah, basically. And when I first pulled them out, I was like, I kind of want to do an ombre like fade thing with the pinks, so it'd be darker at one section and then get lighter. And then I was like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna grab them willy-nilly and see what works or what I have enough of to put into whatever section. So we're pretty close to where.
Yeah.
You have a little bit of brioche on top, and I am right at the spot where I wanted to start that, but I have to wait until my child goes to sleep so I can focus on it. So.
I know. I had to unpick a lot of brioche yesterday because I was like, I think I was purling when I was supposed to be knitting or something.
Oh. It's been fun. I haven't done brioche before, so this is my first experience with it, and it does take a little bit of concentration.
Yeah.
I'm working on recognizing the stitch structure, architecture, and I can't just like pick it up and start doing it and know where I left off. I have to look at the directions still for it, but I'm sure that will come with time.
That's a little Santa guy.
Yeah.
The other stitch marker from the Advent. There were some more little ring ones too. Very cute.
It's been fun to work on. I really enjoyed the pattern. You know, by the time you're tired of doing one section or you're getting a little bit bored with doing one stitch, it's on to the next panel, so it's a different stitch that you're doing. So it's nice. It's very engaging, and you do have to pay some attention to it, well, when you're doing brioche, but otherwise it's pretty straightforward and pretty easy to do.
Yeah, all I'm doing is once I run out of 110 gram mini, I just switch to the next one. I'm not doing any kind of, because the pattern calls for one main color and then 3 contrast colors.
Yeah.
Switch them, and I'm not going to bother doing that because they're pretty low contrast anyway.
Yeah.
But you are doing some of the direction.
I did.
Or you
So
started.
there's only one mini that I haven't used to completion yet, and it was the mini that I used in this small first section of brioche down here. I have like a little bit of it left, but all the other ones I've just used until I ran out.
Yeah.
So same thing basically. They're really, we have like enough minis to do an entire second Color Craze shawl with them, because it's not quite as much yarn as I would have guessed. It's only like 250 grams maybe total that you use for it.
Something like that.
Yeah.
We'll see. So yeah, we have a lot of minis left over from the Advent, but we'll figure out. I might do something else. We'll see. But the reason we're both knitting that is because we have a knit along going on right now.
Ew, it's our first one of the year.
First one to start in the year, yes. And so that started, we cast it on Christmas Day. And so that's the Color Craze knit along is going through March 25th. So that is 2 full months. And we do have another one going on right now as well concurrently. It's the Winter Natural Sock knit along. So any yarn, any sock pattern in any weight, you can knit socks as long as they're non-superwash and non-synthetic fiber containing.
Yeah.
And as many as you want.
Yeah. We have a couple of knit-alongs planned for the year. We posted a Make 9 for them on our Instagram page, which is Rustbelt Hippies. So we have 9 of them planned out. We're still getting, I think we have most of the dates solidified for them so far.
I listed on our Ravelry group. It's right on the front page when you go to it, and in the group description, so you don't have to click around in any threads. It's just right there. So if you want to knit one of the patterns, or if you have a span of time during the year that you are not sure what you want to be making, like in the middle of the summer, you don't want to be working on sweaters maybe, join our sock knit along that we have going on.
Mm-hmm. Then we have a couple of them planned that are like free-for-alls within a theme. So like we're going to do Christmas in July so that everyone has a Christmas garment done before Christmas and it's not, you know, trying to finish it within the month of November and getting back behind.
For that one, I'm going to be making everybody new stockings that are actually knit, because these ones are just really, these are really not structurally sound because they're just like loose crochet.
Yeah.
And plus, Bob doesn't even have his own handmade one, so.
Yeah. So Christmas in July, it'll run the whole month of July, but like we have a couple that are like that. We're going to do a Halloween themed one, but you can do whatever you want within it as long as it's within the theme of Halloween or spooky or something of that nature. So we have a couple that are free-for-alls, a couple that are set up with specific patterns in mind. So we've got a lot planned on top of our own personal make nines. So
I think for both like the Halloween one and maybe the Christmas one or some other ones that are kind of just themed, I think they are knit along / make along. So if you like making your own Halloween costume,
oh, that's a good idea.
Submit it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that.
Yeah. And I did kind of shoehorn finish a whip along for August. If you want somebody to light a fire under you to finish your whips, like I have my Raglan over there.
I think we all have a languishing project like that needs to be planned.
For that one, I'm just like, if you just have to weave in the ends and block it, you can count it. I want to get a lot of entries. We'll see how many we get. We can give away lots of prizes.
Yeah, and there's so many things that I make and then I don't sew in the ends, so it just sits unblocked for weeks or months, and it really just needs ends weaved in. So, yeah, it's a good way to do it.
Mm-hmm. So, your next cast on. So those are the two that are going on now, the winter sock and the color craze. The next one will be the soundtrack cowl that will start, oh, darn it.
January 18th, I think.
January 18th. So this month, it's a 2-week one. So I think the 18th through the 31st or something like that is going to be, it's just a 2-week one because it's a smallish worsted weight cowl. So hold 2 strands of fingering weight together or use some leftovers. Just that is also going to count towards your stash down if you're joining us for that.
Yep. It's the pattern is written for worsted weight, 2 skeins of worsted weight. So like 400 yards ish of worsted weight yarn. It's by Elizabeth Smith, and she also has it's mosaic knitting, but the pattern comes, you can buy it individually, or if you buy, she has a sweater that's also done, it's called a soundtrack sweater or soundtrack.
Just soundtrack.
Something like that. Then you get the cowl pattern for free with it. Sorry, the cat is jumping all over me, so this thing just keeps bouncing. But yeah, so I bought the sweater pattern and got the cowl pattern for free, and it's worsted weight, it'll go super fast, and so we thought 2 weeks would be perfect while it's still winter time, and you can make a cowl for yourself or somebody you like.
Yep.
We mentioned this last time, but we've decided we'd also like to participate in a stash down this year, Stash Down 2020. We are following rules or guidelines that have been posted on Instagram by Brown Girl Knits, which we'll put her information in the show notes for this as well. They're pretty easy rules to follow. They're pretty generous. So it's basically inventory what you have, determine what you want to make out of what you have. You can have like allotted $30 a month to buy new yarn. Or you can use it, accrue it and use it throughout the year, or use it on a larger purchase whenever. I know I'm missing something out of the details, but it's pretty easy. There's not a lot of regulations for it, so it should be a good stash down, and everybody has yarn, I'm sure, that they need to work through for things.
Yes. Maybe just try to make your stash a little bit smaller, or at least the same size at the end of the year that it was when you started.
Yeah, that's very true.
Since we are the Rustbelt Hippies, we will be doing our hippie demerits and gold stars today.
Yes.
My turn for a demerit.
Okay.
So my demerit is just going to be the entire month of December. It was a very wasteful month because my kids got 3 colds. They got the last one on the 31st. They got in there. But somebody's just been crying and needy and just needing medicine and running to the doctor and this and that, prescriptions and stuff. So we wasted a lot of food.
Yeah.
In the fridge. I had bought some stuff. I was going to make like a late Thanksgiving kind of meal, do some like green beans and stuffing and all that. I just didn't get to any cooking. So a lot of that food went bad and I just had to throw it away. And the same with, I make my cats homemade food with chicken thighs and a bunch of other ingredients to make sure it's a balanced diet for them. But the main ingredient is, fresh chicken. So that was like 12 pounds of chicken that I had to throw away.
That's hard.
It sucked because it's like an hour and a half project to like get it all ground up and mixed up and put in the freezer. And I just didn't have that this past month because the plague.
Yeah. Well, both of the boys have been sick. Your husband has been sick. You were also sick for a time. Yeah. So it was a rough month for health.
It was. It was a rough month and it was a very wasteful month.
Yeah.
So I wish I wish I had like more help or something so that I could just like get some cooking done, but I just didn't. So we had to throw away a lot of stuff from our fridge. So that was a bummer.
Yeah.
It happens to everybody, but
it does.
It's just rough. I'm like, well, there's 2 pounds of green beans that are very slimy now.
Oh,
yeah. I didn't even want to know at the chicken. I'm like, okay, that sell-by date was 2.5 weeks ago. It's just going. I'm not opening it up to investigate.
That would not have smelled nice.
No.
So, is your demerit for the month?
Yeah.
I guess I'm doing a gold star, I guess. We have also been sick a lot of the month of December. Not quite as bad as your boys were. Like, Margo wasn't running a high fever or anything like that, but all of us have been sick here, too. My grandmother, my husband, me, Margo. I don't know, the cat hasn't gotten sick either, but that's neither here nor there. But because of that, we drove literally nowhere. We did not use the car hardly at all. Like, so that's my gold star for the month, is that we did not emit extra CO2 emissions into the environment. Because I just did not want to leave the house. There was at no point that we were going anywhere. My daughter will ask me every day, who are we going to see today? Where are you going to take me today? And I'm like, sorry, kid, we're staying home. You're sick. We're not doing anything.
Yeah, that's what Scotty does.
Yeah.
It's always nice when you are like using your car for like a month straight, but you don't really go very many places. Like you go to the grocery store that's like half a mile away, or you like drop your kids at preschool and you're like, how long has this tank of gas lasted?
Yeah.
When you used to work and you're like, I was filling up my tank like once every 6 days or whatever.
Yeah. And now my gas tank will last like a month because it's the same thing. I'll drop her off at school. I'll go to the grocery store and that's about it. Yeah. Even my friends live very close by, within a mile. So like when I go see them, they're not far at all. So
look at you saving the planet one cold at a time.
Right. No kidding. So yeah, that's my gold star for the month.
All right. Well, do you have any final thoughts on the hippie train of thought?
No, I don't think so. Just to encourage everyone to go check out the Make 9 that we posted, that you have kindly posted on Ravelry. See if there's anything that they would like to join in on, or have time to inventory their stashes and see if there's anything that they have that would work for a project, anything like that. I think that would be fun if we can get people to join in on all of them. We've had a couple people on the Natural Sock KAL, which has been really fun. Yeah. The Color Craze one we kind of dropped really quickly, but you and I are doing it together, so that's fun too.
We're not going to give ourselves prizes, but we're both going to make a shawl regardless.
That's the ultimate prize, is you get a shawl at the end of it. Yeah. Whether you keep it or not, you get a shawl.
Okay. Well, before we part, I just wanted to tell you to keep an eye out for me releasing this base that I made this sweater in. It's BFL mohair fingering weight, and it's very woolly and rustic without being prickly. I've been wearing it next to skin, It feels great. And it's only going to be released in a dyed to order update. So keep an eye out. You're going to want to sign up for my newsletter because that's the only way that you're going to be able to buy it for a couple of days. Newsletter subscribers are going to get first crack at it with a secret link. It's going to be secret, but you're not going to be able to search for it on my website unless you have the link. So it'll be any colorway, any quantity you want, even speckles, because look.
That's the apple crumble colorway?
It's apple crumble. It does speckles really well. This is what it looks like undyed. And this is Patronus for contrast.
Very nice. It's funny how like they're both very white, but the one looks almost bleached compared to it. I know it's not because there's color in Patronus, but it's funny how it goes so bleached.
It's a little.
It's just gray. It just gets toned down some, you know.
It reads cooler.
Yeah.
A little bit of brown and a little bit of black, but it ends up reading like a dovey white.
It totally does. Yeah.
It's pretty. So anyway. It'll be dyed to order because I have a limited quantity of it, and I have no idea if and when I'm going to be able to get it again. Mm-hmm. And it's very special to me. I will be keeping a couple of sweater quantities worth for myself. So I want everybody who wants some to be able to get whatever they want and enough of what they want. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be just dyeing what I think people want because I don't know what you want. You tell me. So keep an eye out for that. Sign up for my newsletter. That's it for shop news.
I have no shop news of my own. I have plans to like just knit for a couple of months and not do anything shop related for most of the winter season. That's all. Not very exciting, but like it's hard. I don't really enjoy dyeing in my basement for natural dyeing, so I prefer to do it outside during the summertime. So summer's my big dye season.
Well, in the meantime, people can go to your Etsy and buy your inventory though.
Yeah, that's true. I do have some stuff up there. I've got lots of worsted and fingering, and I still have stuff I need to like take pictures of and list. I'm just terrible at doing that part of it.
It's the boring part.
It is, yeah. It's the not fun part. So.
All right.
All right. I think that's all.
That's it for us hippies.
Yeah.
Don't let the overcast skies get you down.
Yeah. I don't mind it, but other people know it. I know they don't.
Yeah.
So.
Happy New Year.
Right. Bye. Happy New Year.